Thank you, Senator Patrick. Senator Marielle-Smith.
Thank you, Deputy President. I also rise to take note of the minister's response. And on this occasion, I do agree with Senator Patrick. It is not unreasonable to get an answer to these questions. It is not unreasonable to get a timely answer to these questions. But it's also entirely unsurprising that we don't have an answer to Senator Patrick's questions. Because when it comes to this announcement, when it comes to the impact of this announcement on my state, there are many questions which remain unanswered by this government, questions which go to the heart of the future economic prosperity of my state, questions about local jobs, questions about local content in the new contracts. These are significant questions, and by failing to answer them, by failing to have an open conversation with the people of South Australia, this government is creating anxiety with the people working on these contracts, deep anxiety for people who have changed their whole lives to work on these projects, either in South Australia or indeed abroad. And I've had families contact me from abroad who have found this incredibly stressful. We still don't know what will be built in South Australia. We don't know when. We don't know precisely how local companies, how local content will be engaged. We don't know what the future looks like. And whilst we support the AUKUS decision, we're provided bipartisanship on that, as we should, there are significant questions which remain unanswered, and they need to be answered as a matter of urgency. South Australians are anxious about this, and it's no wonder they're anxious, because time and time again, when it comes to submarines in our state, when it comes to defence expenditure in our state, when it comes to local content requirements in our state, they've been misled by this government. They've been led down one path, fed something, then fed something else, promised one thing, had it ripped away from them, promised something else, stepped back from that. And now we've got more than 1,100 jobs on the line that we know about. That's not including the people working for small businesses, the people working for businesses gearing up to tender for this work, the businesses who have spent money but not yet have a contract in their hand. And Senator Patrick's right, it takes time. It takes time, particularly for these small businesses. Not every company is a large company. Not every company can withstand this kind of uncertainty. And the workers are stressed. They are stressed and they're nervous, and they don't trust this government. They don't trust this government to be honest with them. They don't trust this government to act with urgency. And so when Senator Patrick stands here and asks for an answer for these questions, I'm happy to stand here and support him, because my state needs answers. These workers need answers. We've used estimates to do that. We're using the committee system to do that. It's reasonable that on the floor of this parliament, all that information that we requested, that we need to know urgently, so that we can provide some comfort and assurance to the people in my state who are anxious. And let me be clear, it's not just the people working on this program directly. It's not just those who are directly employed by Naval Group, although of course it is most critical for them. But let's be clear, when there is uncertainty for this industry in my state, it affects our entire state. It affects business confidence in our state, which has a significant impact and a flow-on effect on the rest of the economy, on other people's jobs, on the decisions South Australians are making for themselves and their future and their families. South Australians already stressed around issues of brain drain. South Australians who don't want their kids to go into state for work, who want a bright future for them in our state. High-skilled jobs, secure jobs, technical jobs, jobs which will give them a long-term future in South Australia. But they need answers, they need clarity. We need to know that this government is absolutely committed to maximising South Australian input and involvement in this. We need answers on that. The South Australian workforce working on these projects needs answers on that. They need that security, they need that assurance, and so does every single small business owner and employee who depends on this work in South Australia. So whilst we support the decision, we don't support the lack of clarity, right? We want assurances. We want assurances for South Australian workers. I want assurances for my state. I want to know about the future of secure and high-skilled work in my state when it comes to these defence projects.